No, only with engaging with Mark and the group and the farm group there this past month. I think they've got a clear sight and putting plans together that we're going to need to put in place to obviously, I hate to use the word battle, but to kind of work with this situation over the next few years. Something that we as a town are going to have to implement.
Okay, the public hearing will remain open, and I'll call again toward the end of the meeting. I'm also opening a public hearing regarding the proposed local law number 2 of 2025 to exceed the tax cap. Is there any member of the public that would like to comment on that? Is there any member of the board that would like to comment on that?
Only that there is discussion, there's been on every year on positively line stuff, and just so people understand it, it is a tool for us to have to work with the budget, obviously with numbers. It's a necessary evil that we have to put in place every year.
Anyone else? All right, I'll leave the public hearing open and call again toward the end of the meeting. At this time, are there any members of the public that would like to comment on the agenda items? If so, please come up to the podium and sign in. Okay, seeing none, we'll keep going. At this time, we have the privilege of the floor for Main Roads, Chief Lima Ambulance. Just hold the button down. You're on there. You're on.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with all of you tonight. At this point, I think you all have had our report for approximately over. I'm not going to bore you by reading everything that is in there, but I plan to hit on a few hot topics of things, why we put this proposal together and asking the board to consider. We're looking for taxpayer support towards our operating budget. The ambulance currently receives $0 taxpayer dollars towards the operating budget. That is no village funds and no town funds. There are taxpayer dollars that are earmarked for the ambulance under each budget, but I never see them. They're not part of my budget. They go to pay a portion of the debt service on the building. And what we're proposing and asking is that the town work with the village to come up with a plan to provide some taxpayer funds to help with the operating budget. Our call volume continues to increase, but reimbursement to insurance does not. We haven't seen any significant change in those reimbursement rates over the last several years. In order for us to continue to function the way we're functioning, we need to be able to get calls, we need to take transports. Because that is what our budget is based on, is those transport funds that come with when we take a patient to the hospital. Insurance fees is certainly not. Some insurances pay a little, some insurances pay more. But ultimately, that's where our operating budget comes we have to start getting creative. I use all the creativity I got to try and bring in more volunteers and come up with other strategies. And now I need help from the leadership of both the town and the village to move forward.
So Meg, in a perfect world, in a hybrid model with the volunteers and some paid people, what are we looking for? Paid people, or what are the numbers?
Like the number of staff or the amount it would cost?
Number of people first,
Number of
let's start
people. Number of
there.
people is a little bit tricky. Right now, in the EMS world, most EMTs work one full-time job and a couple of part-time jobs because EMTs are basically paid not to minimum wage. So in order to pay bills, they tend to do that. There are staffing companies out there that I've spoken with and gotten some estimates from. So I don't think it's going to necessarily mean it's going to be one person, two person, three people. I think what we're going to have a pool of people within a staffing company. The nice thing about that is the staffing company that takes care of a lot of the administrative tasks, which alleviates some of the burden from me so that I'm not trying to figure out payroll and benefits.
You don't become a secretary
Right.
after this.
I don't have the bandwidth to take on all of that, and so using a staffing company takes some of that out. And so in the proposals that we looked at, that is what we are taking that financial component of what we pay a staffing company into those estimates for personnel, because I think that is what other areas have done and done successfully. And so I think it might be an ideal way if we're going to bring staff on, rather than trying to hire one or two people and then call that sick, scrambling. I think that would be the better way to go about it, but again, I'm open to other ideas if someone has a different strategy.
How many hours do you time?
I'm the world perfect solution. I'd like to get 40 hours a week. That's not, I don't expect that. That would be the ideal goal down the road. 2 people, 40 hours a week. But we could definitely, Mark, we could fill in holes during the week. So we could get away with less than that. We could get away with half of that and have the coverage the way we need. I just like to give myself a buffer zone because if I get sick and I can't run, or Dominic gets sick and he can't run, the two of us are running full-time volunteer, and it's just working full-time. What I don't want to do is be like, oh yeah, you can keep coming in and down to pick up all this time. One of us gets sick and now it's the 4 of us.
So the majority is on the medical side is where you need people, not drivers. Or do you
I'd say
need
it's the
drivers?
most part we need EMTs. We have a good smattering of drivers. We don't fill all the holes. The early mornings are tough. We don't have any from like 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. And we don't often have people from like 4 p.m. to 6. But in between, most of the time, if I make enough phone calls, I can get that covered on the driver's side. The EMT part is trickier. Just there aren't as many of us, and it's not everyone can go to become an EMT. There's a cost associated with that, there's a time commitment associated with that, and not everybody is comfortable taking that responsibility.
So like when you mentioned about, was it last month you went 6 times to Minnehaha, you said? Was that not just this year, last month? And obviously that shortens your availability of people here if a call comes out in Lima. And how long, when they call you out the stage, how long is that on the average? Is it 3 hours, 2, 3 hours, longer?
It's pretty variable. Sometimes we're there for 45 minutes, sometimes we're there for a couple hours. There was one day this past month that we went and got sent to Fard and to Geneseo. I think those are 2. So, you know, those calls were transport calls, those were calls that brought in money for the ambulance, but it did leave Lima open. We have a mutual aid agreement with the county, and it says that if we have any available, we will support them. This is a way that they have that commitment with us as a county-wide goal that everybody makes sure that the districts are covered. So in order for us to get full Dominions, typically that means that the lane has at least 2 ambulances out, and the county has all of theirs out. They're not pulling us just for fun. They're moving us centralized so that we can cover any emergencies across the board, because there's not enough.
Well, Steve, they can cover mine from Minnehaha.
Yeah, we could come back.
I know they could, but
It's just because they're stationed at Minnehaha doesn't mean mine.
another 5 to 7 minutes,
Yeah, exactly.
depending where the call is. Where do you, no, thanks for bringing that up, Mark.
way the current, run cards are laid out, the ones that were set up, what year was that, when we changed that? 5 years ago. There was a run card change that moved from Lima Falls being our, second hand, and everybody else coming in over to Livingston County being that. So Lima Falls will come to help if the county's not available. But right now, the way that the structure is set up, it's the county comes first, Lima Falls comes second. And to be fair, I'm hearing Lima Falls get called into the county all the time too. Like they're getting called in, and they go way away from the Monroe County. It's the Lima Falls would never deny or say they wouldn't come and help. We just ran into some challenges related to the fact that Lima taxpayers don't pay for ambulance service, and Lima Falls and Mendon taxpayers pay for ambulance service, and that became kind of a sticking point in the way the government was going, because Lima Falls ambulance and the leadership there wanted Lima to help contribute as well, if we were to utilize their service on a regular basis.
I know, I can't remember how it worked, but there was talk of volunteer firemen that they volunteered, they would get some kind of tax break. They had to have an ambulance.
We do get a tax break, on property taxes, the same, where we fell into the umbrella with the fire department. That works well for some people. Part of my challenge is I have a lot of renters. So that doesn't necessarily them out on that side of it. I mean, it's a great thing, I'm not denying it.
Right.
It just doesn't necessarily, it's not enough to be like, come volunteer.
EMTs, they tend to be younger maybe, and so obviously they're going to be renting or.
We do, I would say the majority of our EMTs are under 30, probably majority under 35. We've got kind of two swaths of people in the ambulance. We have a really young group, and then we have my age and up, and there's like nobody kind of in the middle. That like, the spot, and I took time away from it too. When you're having babies and starting a family and things, it's not a great time to run. You can't run out of the house in the middle of the night. So you kind of have a window there where we might lose people in the center, and then hopefully they come back around again. But we've got some retirees driving for us, but not as many people on, most of our EMTs are younger. Most of our EMTs are younger.
A caveat with that, Ron, though, and I think it works the same on the ambulance side for us in the fire, you've got to be a property owner. You cannot rent an apartment or anything, you've got to,
Right,
the
so
way to get
there's-
that break is to be an owner of property.
One group was in the 7th, but the other one was.
Kind of. And there is an opportunity on state taxes that there's a small deduction that you can get. I don't know what it is.
You take either tax exemption or your property tax. There's
Yeah.
two ways to do it.
Just ways of getting it, and not to downplay it, but I sometimes think the younger generation doesn't really think about taxes, and that's not their high priority.
Yeah.
They're just trying to pay bills and get things done, and they're working multiple jobs in multiple places. But those ideas are great, and there's more things like that, if we can come up with stuff that
Right,
helps
yeah,
facilitate.
thinking outside the box, kind of
Yeah.
thing, incentivize.
So Megan, I think one of the things you're pointing out here is that unlike the fire department, there is currently a plan B for ambulance, right? So Livingston County is the backup.
They are
And
not.
Lima Falls is back to that. So there's 3 levels of potential ambulance coverage, for Lima present. So I think, it's my opinion, that if the county was required to provide additional ambulance service on a more routine basis, okay, so if they weren't able to get the coverage from Lima people at all, or Lima went away, or something like that happened, they would step up. They would have to buy ambulances, they would put up a building, they have to buy, people.
Maybe
So
not,
that-
I mean, it didn't change when Geneseo started struggling.
But they can.
I mean, I don't know, because Geneseo is in way worse shape than we're in. Geneseo is, again, I'm not talking negative about other agencies, but they cover only a fraction of their calls, and we have not watched the county change their staffing, or where they sit their ambulances, or really their practice hasn't changed at all, despite the fact that Geneseo only has it for a fraction of the time, and since January, Mount Morris has not consistently had crews, if we went down entirely, they might shift, but I wouldn't count on it, given the fact that we can see examples of where agencies are not staffing, and we don't see a change in how they're functioning. If anything, the county staffing in the last 6 months has decreased, and I don't think Karen's intentionally down staffing, but I think it's just a matter of what's available and the nature of things.
Yeah, they've lost, 4 people at least, in the last 6 months. They replaced 1 ambulance and then added 1. So they're,
They have lots of ambulances, it's not like they keep us. And I think in general, we know across New York State that the number of EMS calls are going up. We're seeing that it's been a trend since 2022, I think, is when the data started coming back again. We had a little bit of a lull, the COVID gave a burst and then it dropped off, and then we've seen a significant uptick again. So in general, just ambulance calls, call volume, you can look at anybody's records, and the numbers just keep going up every year. So that's a factor in why it's harder to.
Why might the calls be random up this time of school?
I think it's a variety of things. I think people don't necessarily have insurance and don't utilize doctors, and then they use the ambulance and the hospitals. The thing is, hospitals are overflowing. I mean,
Yeah.
you can hear it everywhere. And people are sicker. People are waiting until the last minute to get help, which then results in them being more frail and things.
Ron, look at you and me.
Do it.
No, sir, no, we're the end of the baby boomers. The baby boomers are getting older.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it right there.
And healthcare, you co-pays and emergencies, so expensive.
And like, it's hard to get into primary care physicians. I had an ear infection a couple weeks ago, and my primary care didn't get me in for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, I went to urgent care, because this is awful. But like, it's things like that, primary care physicians are overloaded. There's so many factors, I can't put a number or a name on it, but there's a lot of problems with that, which just results in more ambulance calls, and ambulance calls taking longer, because you have to wait a long time in the hospital to offload your patient.
Right.
It's a systemic issue, not something we're gonna fix.
It's the healthcare in general. My daughter, Ed Strong, is one of the nurses in charge of the burn trauma. Ed Strong. And she says, it's staffing. It's about getting the right amount of people at the right time there that you need. And they're always short.
Always.
And because people's lives, things are going on and things happen, but it's like you said, it's the people. If you can get the people, that's one of the big problems solved right there.
So you've, this ambulance topic has got a lot of visibility in the village, over the last year plus. And I've seen sort of pick up in some new volunteers. There's been, I don't know, half a dozen or so. I think mostly drivers, but that's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
It's too bad that there are more people that can volunteer
So realistically, you could use 4 more at any given time,
Yes.
approximately?
We have not many people going to the EMT class right now, but I will say that generally, most people to the EMT class, we get about 1/3 of that.
Thank you for what you do. I mean, the board really appreciates you, and I'm sure the town of Village people. So you should be a product of that.
Maggie, is there any thought of adding an ALS component?
That's another great suggestion, because we have to pay for ALS every time ALS, a paramedic comes with us, so if it's somebody who needs a breathing tube or needs higher level of care, we have to pay for those each time they come with us. So that is being considered. It's harder to find paramedics at a volunteer level. I don't know very many who will volunteer once they complete paramedic school, because it's pricey. But if we switch over to some sort of partially paid model, I think we have potential. There's also going to be a significant out-of-pocket expense at the beginning, because there's equipment that we don't have that's required for a paramedic. There's medications, there's things like that. It's not impossible, and it may actually recoup us some money, but I think it would have to be really thought out, and we have to get somebody committed to running with us, more than one person, in order to make the investment in the equipment for it. But it's been brought up several times, because there is definitely you can bill at a higher rate for the insurance side of it, and you wouldn't be paying the county or having calls when they come with us.
Would you need as many paramedics as you have EMTs?
Not necessarily, because not every call is a paramedic call.
How do you say that?
I mean, a paramedic can work down, so a paramedic can work as an EMT
Yeah.
at that level and only bill at that basic level, or they can work up. So it's going to would definitely take some problem solving finesse to get there, but I don't think it's an awful idea. I think it has potential. It just isn't something that can happen quickly.
Well, they develop ALS, right? So
Yes,
how do they do it? That's a question. Okay,
They're
that's a
full-time
question.
paid.
Huh?
they're full-time paid.
But are they all paramedics?
And false mentors full-time.
Are they all paramedics?
They have a few, so they sometimes they have some EMTs, but their staffing is, they have very few volunteers left, and their staffing that happens during the weekdays and is full-time. And they're looking to try and up staff, as we're talking about that, we're trying to do stuff in their right over there. So they have people, but they're trying to figure out their situation.
Any other questions from them?
So right now, obviously, on your call, it's a per call basis, how you bill.
Correct.
And is that based on the level of care needed during that call?
Correct. It's directly tied into our documentation, and what things take place during the call. We have a policy, we do not bill for calls where we don't transport, and that is a county-wide policy. Nobody bills for non-transport calls, with the exception of NPAs, because we use a lot of images and things on motor vehicle accidents, but, so the billing is directly linked to our documentation, what type of call it is, and then insurance, the coding that goes through, insurance pays that based on those codes. And I can give you more info on that, if you have questions or queries that I can back to you.
Well, just one more, and I've never asked this to you or anybody over the years, all the time being involved with the AMA. So, the rates, who, or how do you culminate and get to that rate? Is it a state thing? Is it a county? Is it insurance?
So it's a regional area, so every year, so we use Max as our billing company. They're the gurus who figure out how to make sure we get the money back. They work with the insurance company and everything. So every year she sends me a list of rates, and she'll say, this is where you're at, this is what the other, she doesn't tell you who, but she says the other ambulances around you, here's what they're charging. And so then we look at it and we're like, okay, we're under that rate or over. And we try to get people, because you don't want to be the ambulance that, is stealing from people, and you don't want to be the ambulance on your charges. The thing that happens is though, I can do a chart and I can have the insurance company send a code and a bill for like
run tonight, on the average, how long does it take you to get reimbursed from that run tonight?
It's pretty fast. It's gonna,
A week, 2 weeks?
it's probably about within a month.
Within the month, for
Within a
sure.
month. It's a little bit tricky. Some insurance are faster than others. Some people give their stuff through faster. But in generally, Elizabeth getting things back from insurance companies in about a month. There's some outliers, and there's some dispute things, and that's what my ex does, he takes care of all that for us, so that we don't have to fight with insurance companies. But, we don't have that many outstanding bills, except for people who are paying out of pocket. And then they get extended time to be able to pay off those expenses, which is one of the reasons we don't want our rates to increase high. Because I don't want the private pay person paying some astronomical payment when the insurance company only gives us $300. That's not fair.
And what would that be, like, 1 out of every 10? Would it be that high?
For private pay,
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably in that range. We have some frequent flyers that are private pay, so that one brings up the number a touch. But it's kind of variable, and each insurance company does a little differently, but honestly, I'm very grateful my ex takes care of most of that stuff. I just get involved when there's some sort of dispute going on, and I have to work on documentation.
So you're aware that we have a 3-year agreement with Village currently, right?
I was there, was not previously aware of that, my fault, being aware of that this summer.
Okay, and the last year of that agreement is 2026.
I heard that.
So in November of 2026, we're scheduled to revisit the agreement again. Now, we also contribute, I think it's about $20,000 towards the payment facility.
That's what the agreement is for.
Okay.
That's all, that's where
That's-
that agreement is between you and the village for the coverage of the building. It doesn't have anything to do with the operating.
So the town has helped with facilities building. And we have had help with operations because we need to cover that for your other administration. That's historically the reason why the town isn't necessarily chipping in.
We have not come to the town and asked for
Right.
money previously. We have been able to either pull from reserves when crises happen, like when the ambulance, the gas tank fell on the ambulance and we couldn't fix it. Last year, we were able to pull from our reserve funds, which we put money into every year from whatever's left over in my budget, every year goes into the reserve funds. And that money is all just from billables. So we took that away a little bit over the years, so we could purchase a used ambulance.
So that's how you can buy the ambulances and the fly power.
Right, everything about it, the equipment, the supplies, anything you see in the ambulance, minus the building itself. And the building is before it's a combination of ambulance funds from our billables, the town funds, and the village funds. It's all three contributing, so, we're putting money into that as well.
Like, you know, how much more time is there on this building? Okay.
4 years?
I think it's what. I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure it's for.
So what's that, with that 20,000, that can they go towards?
So debt service right now is 45 or 48 or something
I
like
think
that.
it's 48.
Yeah, so it's $48,000 a year goes in. The village is putting in 20, we're putting in 19, 9, whatever, this year. And then the balance of it comes out of the ambulance budget. So when the actual bill is paid off, $48,000 doesn't have to be allocated.
Could that money then go towards helping this situation?
It could.
Part of it at least, because if I'm not mistaken, right now, there is no maintenance, money right now for the facility to speak
We
of, correct?
put money into savings every year, specifically year after year.
But like, upkeep of the building, because I know one big concern we were talking last year was the parking lot here, that has to,
We've got a reserve fund that is earmarked for building expenses.
you do, all right.
That we are probably have to pull some out of, because the parking lot needs to be done, and
Yep.
there's some projects there, just like, we always try to keep our costs down, so it's that tricky balance between when to spend before things get too bad.
If you have time, maybe you could do it and, be regular.
Everyone,
I got a question for Meg. Um, With the current environment federally and the cuts in Medicaid, is that going to affect your payment from different things that you do?
We're not certain. We hear lots of rumors. I don't want to speculate on that, because I don't want to start scary rumors and have people freaked out by it, but it does look as though there's gonna be some impact there. There's a lot of federal stuff that's changing that seems to be having an impact, but the grants are going away, there's a lot of other components.
Exactly.
But we're keeping a very close eye on that, as well as what the state is doing with their plans to try and, because if that shifts and things change from a financial standpoint, then our budget will have to change as well.
So you're going to have to find different ways to make money.
Right, yeah, ultimately, in the end, we are a village ambulance, which means that if we don't bring in the money that's necessary, the village is like, supposed to make up the difference for it. We've always been budget neutral, or if anything, we have been able to pay enough to have savings at the end of the year, because we really don't spend. We don't buy a lot of stuff, we try and use and reuse and buy
Right.
everything. We buy everything used, we don't buy very much new. But there is the potential that either if we're not covering calls, our call volume went down, or if the reimbursement drops off for us, then we can end up with a different situation.
And the village will have to make that up, you say?
Technically, we fall under the village. It would probably mean making some pretty significant cuts and maybe making changes like getting rid of second ambulance, something along those lines. I don't want to do that. We use second ambulance a good number of times. We used it 6 times this month. I don't really want to make those sorts of cuts, but ultimately the village has to make those decisions as to where they want the money to pull from.
Gotcha, thank you.
Other questions from me?
Only that I want to thank you, like Bill said, and your predecessor, Norm, before you, and Noam being the part, the altering you have to do with your life. I mean, I'm not going to call, I said, you're going by my house all the time, going to calls. Now, I gotta tell you, this girl here has been 100% dedicated when she's taken this job on, and it is not easy. It's very stressful. It's not like she's getting 6-figure income to do this. And I think as a community, we really need to take a hard look at this, and so people can continue to have the level of service, we need to look to keep our ambulance support going in this town. That's just my personal opinion.
Thank you. Okay, so next, we have been asked by the Daughters of the American Revolution for a proclamation. And we do have some members here, Stephanie and Marilyn. So I will read the proclamation as it is. And so, whereas the week of September 17th through September 23rd is Constitution Week in the United States of America. Whereas the United States Constitution was written in 1787, ratified in 1788, and has been in operation since 1789, and is the world's longest surviving written charter of government. It affirms that the government of the United States exists to serve its citizens. And whereas in 1955, the Daughters of the American Revolution petitioned Congress to observe Constitution Week, the week of September 17th through September 23rd. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the resolution into public law on August 2nd, 1956. And whereas Constitution Week reminds us of our responsibility to respect and defend the Constitution, remember that the Constitution is the basis for America's heritage and encourages us to study the historical events which led to the framing of the Constitution. And now, we, Lima Town Supervisor Michael Falk, Town Deputy Supervisor Mark Petrosky, Town Councilman Ron Blodgett, William Carey, and Steve Werner, on September 2nd, 2025, hereby acknowledge the week of September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week,
So we can bring our own bells also?
Please do, please do.
All right.
We would appreciate everyone to be there, and it will be going in the penny saver to invite anyone who would like to come. And if anyone knows any contacts at the schools, if they want to promote that at the schools, certainly invite children to come, to be part of the celebration.
So that's going to be a Tuesday, correct?
It's a Wednesday
Or is it a Wednesday? When, you're right, I'm out of town, 14th, 15th, right, Wednesday.
at September 17th at 4 o'clock.
Okay, great.
Excellent. I will, make copies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at the code for responsive monthly report? I didn't.
December 23. Just like, it should have been for this, it would have been December 23.
You're right.
Okay, we'll look for that. The supervisor's monthly report, we do not have. The holiday weekend backed up against everything means that the bank statements did not come out. So we'll catch up with that next week. Communications to the board. So let's, correct. I'm gonna pass it off to Ron.
Yeah, and we'll, in September 10th, you're going to be at the meeting.
Yeah, I'll be at the meeting, yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of it was donated in memory of Ron Roberts,
Okay.
but not all.
Okay.
So there may have been a memorial function. Okay. All right, so, let's see. Our assured partners, they're the folks that manage our healthcare stuff at the expense of the healthcare company. They have now merged with Gallagher, which is a national insurance agency, and wanted to let us know that. I did receive several letters from Mary Jo Fish, who lives across the street, regarding a thank you note possibly for John Sobolowski. The end of the email train was that she understood he was not going to go to a meeting. We received a petition from several homeowners on Plank Road, and we'll be dealing with that in a little bit down in number 7. And other than that, we got the contract from UBS County for next year. Okay, did everybody have a chance to take a look at the August 5th town board minutes? 5, the agreements that were discussed last time have all been signed and executed. So, so we're up to speed. The engineering is underway. That's the design status. The next piece there is there are 3 or 4 agreements that have to be executed with the village regarding the use of the pipeline, the reduced water rate, the water authority, etc. We are meeting with the village in a week and a half, I think, for round 2 of the discussions on that. The highway department.
So there's been no movement on crosswalk. Equipment planning, signed for the new truck to be built, should have chassis built, by early November, and it'll be shipped off to just south of Buffalo, to have the box and everything made for it, we'll put that back, and it'll be in operation before next winter. And then I think in the springtime, we auction off the 6-wheeler that we have currently. And then so on from there, we'll, try and figure out after that point of what we bring in from the 6-wheeler, and if we have, some leeway in money, and potentially look at doing more, probably replacing one of the 1-ton trucks. Steve stopped into the shop the other day, and confidently it almost looked like it was staged. One of the 1-tons, the driver door is new chucking, and you pretty much have to rip it off the hinges to get it open.
Could you just explain to everybody what we are buying right now and why?
So we're currently buying a new 6-wheel dump truck, and it is to replace a almost 25-year-old truck that we've had. It's significantly less than about another 10-wheeler, and it'll be, primarily used on roadside jobs and things like that during the summer.
Yeah, it's not just because you're a municipality. I gotta tell you, Ronald will test on his farm, where you get 25 years of service on the roads around here, and you're gonna, even before then, you're starting to have problems pop up.
No, absolutely, especially being a truck that puts salt on the road.
Right, Good job.
Okay. Salt shed, the grant has been applied for. I don't believe we'll hear back from that until like January. Possibly would like to try and look into some, I guess, problem solving ways of storing salt this winter instead of just putting it on the ground and putting tarps just laying over top of it. Possibly talk to Lakeland's about, coming up with, either blocks or any way that they can help.
Right, so tomorrow morning, Ron and myself and Sean are gonna go up to, Lakeland's and see if they could somehow work with us and, support us in any way, if they could loan us blocks till next year, because for these guys to pile salt in a pile and then try to tarp it with the winds and stuff we get along, and it would just make for a cluster for these guys at night and stuff, trying to load trucks out of the pile, and try to roll tarps back every time. So the idea is, or if anybody knows any other thing before we can get a permanent structure, we're looking at, some help from the community maybe, or someone to, make it a little easier for his crew to load out. So the idea, everybody sees these big stackable concrete blocks. They're about as high as a table. If we could get either 2 or 3, you gotta be careful stacking it too high, but somewhere where salt can be brought into and a little bit better cover until hopefully we get some grant money and get some money put aside here in the budget for a new salt shed, which has been put out there for over 2 years and was not handled, unfortunately, and put us in a little bit of predicament, obviously, going into this winter. But we're gonna try to, again, do some problem solving here in a short period.
I mean, even like for something super temporary, other than like say Lakeland's can help us out, using or finding like some 40-foot, tractor trailer boxes or something like that, and put 3 of them together and build some sort of roof over the top of it with the remaining lumber that we took down from the previous structure, and maybe you could just use those tarps as a roof structure or something. Is another idea, but it'd be some makeshift building for, God, hopefully not long.
But even if we do get a grant, Mike, we're probably 2 years out, close to it. And if we could get some money, maybe it definitely won't be for this winter. Maybe for next year would be a real dream, but
Grant comes through, then we have to look at, the company and construction.
correct.
How long it's gonna take.
And we've got it here to working with Stryker and the DEC, correct? That's also part of it, so it's just, we're not gonna snap our fingers and have it if we get money.
So like, whoever you get built, it's got to be for building the wage or building.
So the building you looked at was a state bid.
That's correct.
So it's up to the contractor to provide all of that documentation. Some of them find exemptions here and there, et cetera, but otherwise, the price that they gave you included that.
Yeah. I know like the guys that we went and saw the first time, they built all that, and most of it in the factory.
Yeah.
And then trucked it out to kind of avoid for a portion of it.
But Ron and Sean and I went, what was it, over 2 months ago now? We went out looking at salt structures. I know some highway superintendents that retired out of Walworth, and he met us, showed and talked to about it. I mean, it seems, there are good structures that company builds, and there are a lot of them in the area. So, I commend Sean for taking the bull by the horns on a lot of projects that he's been thrown into. And, we'll get through it. We'll do salt storage and maybe even mow tractor and other stuff.
I thought we were talking with Ben about tearing down the old section of the salt shed.
We have half of it torn down,
That he has some ideas about sharing what was left. Now, is it possible, is that possible, part of this conversation with Ben, that you can, like, if you're in the pinch, the cart's salt is hard with snow, that you can grab salt out of his.
Yeah, I'm sure Ben would be more than, willing, especially if we're not in a spot where, they're also running out of salt. Where if they have enough to where like, hey, we can fill trucks and hopefully get, we can pay for some loads to come in, and refill what we've taken out of their section. For sure, I do think it would be
Okay.
willing to do that.
So, I mean, it's not the end of the world to have some of the salt covered the car.
Well, it's not.
It would be, but
But to try and do it every time you go out,
Sure.
yes.
But we have to watch spending more money to do a temporary situation than, meeting ground is possible.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we would have built it already.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree with that. Oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought, but.
Okay.
But until we approach them, we don't know what they're gonna do for us, if they'll do anything. Maybe they won't, maybe they can, Lakeland or something.
Well, and hopefully we don't run into a situation like last year where there's a salt shortage, completely that, even with all of the days that we had last year, there was multiple times where we were running down into the last bay available, and now those two bays that aren't even there anymore. So I'm hoping that, this year or into next, that we don't run into that type of situation.
Would you reach out to them and find out what their plan is?
For the village?
No, for the salt.
Yeah, have you talked to them lately, see where they stand or where?
I have not talked to the American Rock Center, have not.
Well, they raise everything $3 a ton.
Yeah.
And they are producing salt as fast as they can go. The
Yeah.
rail cars are back all the way down the spur, getting filled, and going around. A bad winter, it still means they can't keep up.
Yeah.
So, with the MEO hiring, how are we doing?
So, I do have a account that I would like to hire. His name is Joseph, he lives right here in town, he's been a Class A driver for 7 years now. And I think he's a good fit, he wants to, move his career into, a full-time place where he can see himself retiring. We've talked wages, and with the amount of experience that he has driving a truck and can come right in, doesn't have to go to school there or anything like that. I was looking at $23, $24 an hour there. I guess I wasn't 100% sure if the wage had to be approved by you guys first, which I would have to imagine it does.
Yeah, so what did we advertise in the paper?
It was, I think, 20 to 25, depending on experience.
Okay, and your recommendation for the starting wage is what?
I would say $24 with his 7 years of driving experience that he has.
Okay. So, and Joseph's last name is?
I believe it's Hopkinson.
Hopkinson?
Hopkinson.
Hopkinson.
Okay. So, based on Sean's recommendation, I entertain a motion to hire Mr. Hodkinson at $24 an hour.
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? Jim, can you, pull together some sort of document for that?
Yes, yep, that goes up together.
Okay. So yeah, that, Jim will be in touch.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you.
He's got it. Okay, and then, the proposed local law number 3.
Yep, like proposed the law, creating a 10-ton weight limit on Heath, Markham, Gale, and Dalton Road, to cut off truck, heavy truck traffic through those roads to, there's a lot of trucks, especially Dalton, that, cut through, so they don't have to come through the village, heading over to Houston. I know Heath, Markham, it's kind of a gray area, because all of the roads coming off of, Rochester gravel and, I can't remember, Oak openings. Every single road in every direction is a 10-ton weight limit coming off of there. I've stopped trucks coming off of North Avon Road, which was also posted, and then coming over to Heath Markham to get back over 5 and 20. And their thought process was, well, Heath Markham's not posted, and North Avon Road is only about a quarter mile, so that would be the route that they would take. I would like to propose this into law, so we have it backed by the town.
You can take the signs to them, right?
I've already got signs, I've already got the signs, we've already actually posted the signs, and, yeah, especially Dalton, I know there's a ton of trucks that cut through Dalton and over to Hampton.
But local delivery and farm trucks would not
They,
exempt to this.
oh, yeah, well, there's the exempt for local delivery, sign on the bottom of them.
All right.
And that exempts like over on Heath Markham, gosh, I can't remember the farmer's name, who sells all the seed over there, like. Mark Krieger, like, I know there's tractor trailer and stuff coming out of there all the time, but, yep.
Prozac.
T and L, they're all exempt, they're within the,
Okay.
yeah, they're all exempt within those roads, because it's where they're located.
All right, so, we would then have to, work with Mr. Campbell to go ahead and get the notices out, and we would have to set a public hearing for our October meeting.
Okay.
And it seems like everybody kind of takes the negative, solution. Don't come on our roads. What if we took the positive solution instead of putting
So, right now, Bryce, the way you're handling, he is the proud owner of JP Imports, and he circulated a petition there, asking us to consider a general business overlay for that property and the next four to the south. We really can't do much with it this evening, but we can ask the attorney to go ahead and get the proper documents together to send to the planning board, zoning board, county planning board, and the agricultural advisory committee. And we can set a public hearing for October 7th so that everybody knows and can discuss.
Right. I think we really can't schedule a public hearing until you have a draft local law for review.
Okay.
Yeah, just by its nature, because it's a zoning change, we have to have that first.
Okay, so tonight then, all we can do is direct you to draft the local law.
Correct.
What about distribution to the other groups?
We need that for review, except for the county planning board. That needs to be a referral, which we can't do until you get presented to the local law. So it's been drafted.
All right, so we can have Jim go ahead and draft the local law and send it out to the planning board, zoning board, and agricultural advisory committee. And so we have a motion from Mark, is there a second? Second from Bill, any other discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed?
Thank you for taking over that. It's
So-
nice to have something down there.
So obviously, the reason for him being tonight, it was pre-existing, non-conforming, and it's been nothing there now for
A few years.
4 or 5 years now, has it been? 4 years, anyways.
I think 3.5.
Yeah, come on, so.
Just so you know, it was non-conforming. Now it's okay.
It's what now?
It's agricultural.
Right.
Because prior use will continue for a year.
That's what I just said, right, it was let go for 3.5, 4 years now.
Right. So now it's simply agricultural.
Okay. So that's on its way. Next is the budget transfers. We have the
Mostly the transfers.
There's a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. So next, this is where we inserted the Baldwin contract. I have Baldwin contract here, it's an increase of $3,500 over last year. They provide our payroll services and our accounting and all of the mandated reports for the comptroller's office and everything that you see.
What was the 2025 budget?
The 2025 budget was even 19.
What now?
So it's actually a $2,500 increase.
problem is gonna be finding somebody within a reasonable distance of Lima that does town municipal.
We've had them forever, since I've been on the board.
Yeah,
I've been on the board 22 years.
Pete brought them in.
Right.
That is a 24% increase. Last year was 17, this year is 20. We don't have any options. And Bill made a motion.
Lori, do we have a second? So, looking for a second. Second from Ron. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Carried. The IT services, I don't have anything.
You have to be one just for getting out of that, I had to kind of business card, because I had to do something that they were. He's, I think he wants to know what's gonna do that, so.
All right, the Siemens project. So, we had one little bit of a hitch here. The mechanical contractor insisted on having us do asbestos and the paint testing where they were doing the basic ceiling penetrations. We went back through the 2 rounds of asbestos testing that we had in the abatement program here back in 18 and 20. And we did not have a sample for the basement ceiling. We had a sample for all the penetrations for the elevator, wherever it was going to be going through anything. But we did not have it for the basement area. So Siemens agreed that they would go ahead and debit whatever cost of it was out of the contingency in their contract, but they were unable to contract with the testing facility. It had to be us. So I went ahead and signed the contract for $1,000. They came in, did all the core samples, and wanted downstairs, and we were clean. Nothing. So all latex paint and plaster.
So, we get a credit or we don't get a credit?
We do get the credit, so it's not gonna cost us.
Okay.
It's a bonus, not having comment.
Yeah. The bonus is not having found it. Here's for Yeah, just say thank you and we move on. Otherwise, you can see around the room, the changes are starting, the radiators have come out, the new mini split systems are being put in. The plumbing piece is what is getting started. Down the basement, you can see the collectors and handlers being put in as well. So boilers out, radiators are out. Thank you for taking them out.
Now highway did a phenomenal job. We scrapped the radiators and all the excess equipment. We did not make money, but it was what, 1,000 something we got back at least. What was it?
Yep. So otherwise, the national grid this year, Friday, expecting the electrical work outside. I expect the building cut over will be this month. So, for anyone who cares to, you can go up into the mechanical space here on the side of the stage and see that there's a brand new panel mounted, in preparation for cutting over all this up here, which will stop the blinking of lights. The town solar law update. Mark?
Our solar committee met with the ag committee, earlier in August. A lot of good conversation. One primary question was asked was if the town was to adopt the same law that Avon adopted, what would that look like? So I contacted county planning, and
So at this time, we still have an open public hearing for implementing a 12-month moratorium on large-scale solar. I'd ask at this time if any member of the public would like to comment on that public hearing. Would any member of the board like to comment on that public hearing? Okay, so hearing none, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. At this time, I would entertain a motion to vote on local law number 1, implementing a 12-month moratorium on large-scale solar in the town of Lima. Yes.
Just before you take the vote, we want the record to reflect that it's a type 2 action under seeker,
Okay.
and that means we don't have to go through any kind of additional seeker review, and now we can go ahead and move forward.
Okay. You got that, Lauren?
No,
So it's a type 2 action under seeker.
okay, secret, that's what you want, yeah.
I'll make the motion then to go ahead and vote on local law number 1 for a 1-year moratorium on solar, on large-scale solar.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, at this time, we have a second public hearing on proposed local law number 2, 2025, the law to exceed the tax cap. This time, is there any member of the public who would like to comment on the local law? Please come forward and sign in.
My name is Bruce Stevens, I live on Martin Road. I have to say that without the law being put in front of us, you're trying to close the hearing, the next agenda item is the actual law. So, and I found it on the website, but it said it was posted there. I tried to open up, there's no place the website actually shows us the law. So I'm kind of wondering, what are we voting? What are we talking about? Besides saying we need to have this quicker in our arrow for budgeting purposes. Bottom line is this. Put our precinct, our property tax up close to 20% 3 years ago for the reassessment. We now have increasing our energy costs. We have increase in utility costs. Everything that people live with is going to cost. And I respect that the town has to do the same thing. And guys like Sean and people that work for us, they have to understand the same thing. If you pay us, I know we're not. But this town just sits here and says, you know, we don't want big solar. What about the other towns that are getting tax benefits for big solar?
We're not saying no to solar.
Yes, no,
What we're saying is you gotta put the law in place to manage it.
sure. And wait a minute here. Half the towns in our county, Livonia and Lima, the only ones that work in Livingston County, they already have laws allowing it. Well, we drag our feet and make it difficult for business to develop in our town. We aren't allowing business development. We are proud, apparently, we don't have a lot of new residential. In the meantime, cost for this company continues to go up. When is this board going to say we have to actively seek out new revenue for this town so we stop digging deeper into the pockets of the taxpayer? That's why you go around, just keep digging deeper and deeper in our pockets. The same thing. You say we want to do this, all of our utilities, national grid just went. If you live by the lead, you just went. I mean, it doesn't stop. And the town has to find a way to start respecting the taxpayer. And teach us, treat us like we belong here, but we're not just cash cows, we take our money. We didn't make this town in the middle.
Sir, can I just want to change that? On the solar, we're in a spot right now where we can't stop it. The town has had a law in place for years, no solar except for like roof mounted stuff like that.
some of those towns have seen the benefits go away too. Because what we're seeing, oddly, and I'm just making myself, it's not a board statement, Steve Warner. That's fine. A lot of these on their third owners. So it changes. And that is one of the big things we've had to look into is who has the onus on this? Is it solely from those companies? Can they walk away after 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Or how much is on the landowner that is leasing that land out for the solar too? It's a pretty fine line. I mean, it's 75 pages. We had to do homework here 2-3 months ago. Went through Avon's laws. And it comes back to, it's not a clear cut yes or no. I mean, obviously it's going to take both, it's going to take the commercial people in a town, the ag people, the residents. It's going to take everybody to go forward to try to come up with a reasonable solution. Not just say, yes, I want solar, no, I don't want solar. You're right, we have to look at opportunities, but we are stewards right now of this town for 100 years from now. Are we doing the right thing right now? That's what we have to dig into, and it does unfortunately take time to do this with people's input, and look what has happened in other communities. I mean, they're the litmus test for us going forward. Thank God there's other situations that we've seen, and hopefully Mark's committee, they're going to learn by that and absorb all this, take it all in, and come up with the proper decisions going forward. I mean, it's going to take some thought from a lot of people. And we appreciate your input too.
The thing is, if there's solar fields putting out, if they're harvesting electrons and putting out electricity, then someone's your paying tax on. If that to me falls within the property, the contractor, it's not the place for the town to step into the property owner who's leasing his property to a solar field. Get a better word for that person, where you don't be stupid when you're using your property. Okay? But it's their
But I will tell you.
No,
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, if you sign that contract with someone, and that contract allows that company to walk away, and the property owner owns that tax, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have signed the contract. Do it with your eyes open. You can't go buy a used car, $10,000 when it's worth $2,000, blame somebody else. You signed the contract. So that's not the town's responsibility. I respect entirely what you're trying to do, but we can't be caretakers for everybody. People have responsibility to manage their own property, their own contracts, and satisfy. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to real discussion on this.
I hope someday too, when we can go plug our bodies in every morning to an outlet, instead of worrying about going to a grocery store, I'll be 100% with solar at that time.
It's just one thing that did you just, find out? One thing is clear, AI, everything we do is consuming more electricity. We need more electricity, clear, the state's even reconsidering nuclear plants back in the state. I would much rather see locally generated electricity to be consumed locally.
Clean green.
Clean green, yeah. Not green, it's not coal. And the lower we get there, there's a lot of solar fields and wind fields in our area, so we can consume that electricity locally, and not worry about getting shit from Niagara, Mohawk, St. Lawrence Seaway, or from Niagara Falls. If we generate locally, consume locally.
It would be a fun base, but obviously the nuclear is more efficient than solar.
In the short term. The stock market house in the US.
And so, is there any other member of the public that would like to comment on local law number 2? Is there any member of the board that would like to comment on local law number
How much did the village go up last year? Yeah, the village went up 17 last year.
That's the village, that's the village.
It could be 20%.
It could be 50%.
So you wonder why we're questioning?
Well, we're gonna go through the budgetary process, and
Right, so I'm on the town website right now. And right on the front page, it says legal notice of public hearing posted August 6th, 2025. Notice is hereby given pursuant to the provisions of the code of the town of Lima and pursuant to New York State Town Law number 130 and General Municipal Law number 3-C, that a public hearing shall be held by the town board of the town of Lima at the town hall located at 7329 East Main Street, New York, 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, for the purpose of considering public opinion and comment about or concerning a proposed local law relating to the following: a local law to override the limit on the amount of real property taxes that may be levied by the town of Lima pursuant to General Municipal Law 3-C5, and to allow the town of Lima to adopt a budget for the fiscal year 2026 that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by General Municipal Law 3-C2, subparagraph G. The proposed local law is posted on the town's website at the townoflima.new.york.gov and is available for viewing public at the office of town clerk during regular hours. All interested persons are invited to appear and be heard at the aforesaid time and place. And that was placed there on, the order was signed on August 18th, and the clerk put it up on the website. So
The law is not,
it is there.
the law is not posted on the website. That's
But
you wrote that.
I just read you the law.
Correct. That is, it is posted law.
It is, and it's on the website.
that's what it is.
That's it.
That's
There's no giant voluminous thing. It's right there. It's right on the front page. You don't have to click any of the tabs or any of that. It's just right there.
So then I'm curious, is there some sort of discussion posted somewhere that justifies this increase in the tax levy?
So the 2% tax cap was instituted by Governor Cuomo quite a few years ago. It was designed to try to slow the growth of taxes in New York State. However, the legislature changed it over time so that the only groups that are
So what if we do the proposed budget increase tonight?
So the way that a town's budget works in New York State, there are 3 stages to it. The tentative budget is prepared by the supervisor. I poll all of the departments in the town. I get their data back in. I put it into the strong man. I meet the accountants, along with the town clerk and the deputy supervisor. We go through the entire thing and come out with something that I believe to be reasonable. It then gets presented to the town board. We will then, after it's presented tonight, we'll be setting a date for a budget workshop. A budget workshop is different than one of these meetings because there's no clerk. So no notes, no official meeting, but we do advertise it so that the public can attend and watch. It's my chance to go through all board members and the highway superintendent in the room and some of the department heads, like the library and such, so that everybody is on the same page of why those numbers got to where they did. Once that budget workshop is done, at our next meeting, which will be the October 7th meeting, the town board will have taken their things home, done their homework, et cetera. And we go ahead and do a little bit more work at the meeting on the budget, and then move it to preliminary status. The preliminary budget is not the supervisor's budget, it's the board's. Once we have a preliminary budget, we go ahead and set a public hearing for the November meeting, post everything up online, et cetera. The tentative budget will be online tomorrow, and you'll be able to see it on the website. But the preliminary budget will go up in October after the town board is finished with it. And then we go through the month of October, and then November, we look at where we are and then consider voting again. Once we get past the public hearing, there may be some tweaks and stuff in the public, and then we're ready to finalize the budget. We have to finalize it by November 20th. If we do not, cannot agree on the final budget, then on November 21st, the preliminary budget is the budget. Automatic.
And also, if I'm not mistaken, because we were unfortunately or fortunately successful for the grant for the Siemens project, let you know, the state then said, we've got to look at your books on this. So we are paying how much money for an audit?
So we're looking at 2 different audits. One would be a townwide audit at the approximate cost of $35,000. We've not done one in 8 years. The other one is a audit that is specific to the building construction project mandated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, who's funding.
Well, I appreciate you outlining the further process and the steps of the budget. It's helpful in my opinion. Happy to give it the further review to go process.
Thank you for asking. Thanks for being here tonight.
Any other comments? You said, excuse me, you said you worked with an estimate of 6%, maybe less than that. Was that 6% on the top line of the budget, 2.1 million? Or is that 6% on the, what, tax rate you're going to apply as 1.3? Which was that the 6% on top?
No, that was 6% on every tax line on the income.
Okay, so the budget this year, 2025, is 2.168.9. So it's 6% on top of that. Okay, so you're
Right.
adding another $140,000 in budget. The top line.
Ish. Yeah.
And I'm looking at your budget.
I
Your
know,
budget report.
I know, but
Hold on, yeah,
hang on.
that's why I'm asking.
Okay, so it does have a line in there, but only those benefited users in District Two have to come up with that money.
So it's part of their tax, rate, just like those.
It's a part of their tax.
district, water district five, or water responsible for water district five.
Correct. Yeah, but, so I'll finish answering the question. The reason that there's 15,000 on District Two, and a little bit on District Four is that we owe the village part of the transmission main that they built over to add on back up. So that's got another 3 years that we have to pay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Carried. Okay. 2026 audit, we did not get any bids. So, we're going to re-advertise, and I'll be reaching out directly to some of the accounting firms, so that we get something for the next meeting. Okay, so at this time, if any member of the public would like to comment on anything at all, please go ahead and come to the podium and sign in.
I just wanted to talk about the accidents that happened at the end of Door Road in 520. I shot before about a year. That's not the town's issue, but I was just wondering if there's anything in, goes to the state or county, whoever owns that road there, or if the town has decided to do something.
So, Bragg Street is a county road, Doran is a town road, and 520 belongs to New York State. There was a project, and I don't know what those folks, Peter would know. There was a project a number of years ago, and I'm talking probably 20, where the state had done all the engineering and was going to start regrading 520 and Clay Street.
I'm asking about that currently, because of the two accidents here in the last week, 2 weeks.
The last over week. And so, the last time that we went to the traffic safety board, we went to DOT, and DOT went out and did anything, was 3 years ago, where they striped the legs of all the signs, put suggested speed limits on 520 both directions, and they cut back the bank in front of Jericho Banker's house on 520 there.
nothing that can be done or said or anything that anybody would help with that, and push it? And why chase tractors across the street with 75 things hooked on the end?
But one thing I did notice, coming off Bragg Street, looking to the east on the north side of 520, there's a tree there. That tree ought to be down. Because you're trying to see cars coming from the east, and then you gotta look back quick to the west, but you have really a whole not a lot of sight. And so you're trying to look both ways and pull out, and it's tricky.
If they change the yellow signs to white signs and made it 45 through the intersection on 5 and 20, then the sheriff's department can enforce it. Right now, the yellow signs aren't enforceable. That one change.
I know over the years, we've had discussions of this, you're right, a lot of, different accidents at the fire department at that corner. A stoplight's not gonna work. People have, no, so, but here's my thought. If we could endorse a letter from the board, and I don't know, Ryan, like you said, you guys live right in that neighborhood. I'd like to see blind intersections with flashing yellow signs, something to get people's attention entering that intersection, both from the east end, especially the west, from the west head east. But it's something like that, I have wondered for years if that wouldn't work.
Well, I mean,
Because you see them around.
I was surprised, you talked about, Henderson, that lived in the house there, and his connection with Cuomo. I mean, that's 50 years ago. And there's still been nothing done.
Yeah.
50 years.
Right.
Ridiculous.
I just wanted to let you know that, there was, on August 14th, there was what they called a listening session. It was put on by the Tennessee Transportation Council and the Tennessee Finger Lakes Regional Planning Council. It was about transportation, and anybody could have joined that listening session, for quite a large region, which would be like all of Rochester, and transportation 5 counties in a row. I was the only person on that call. I was the only one. And I spent the time to go through with the planners to explain different issues in Lima. And one of them I put a lot of attention to was the intersection of Bragg North. And I explained to them all these things that Mike said, all these things that we're talking about here. And I said, it's unfortunate that the state's waiting for people to die there before we do something. But they're in the process now of developing their regional plans for years to come. So I didn't really think about what we can do, but I like Steve's idea of this board sending a letter to the Tennessee Transportation Council now, while we're in the process of generating the plan. Say, look, people are dying, we're getting close. We just had 2 accidents in the last 3 weeks or whatever. You know, could you please provide attention to this matter? So I think we should do that. But all the people in the community can also send letters to GTC and GFLRPC right now to put some weight behind this issue. I'm a firm believer in the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if there's enough people and attention that are brought to it, that maybe they'll open their eyes and see. The problem is sight distance. They want to say there's sight distance looking west. I'm an engineer. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. And that's the problem. You can't see to the west. So anybody that's trying to come out, they're taking their life in their hands because they don't know how much time they have before somebody comes over that hill 7 miles an hour.
Especially in the winter where you might be skidding.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, highway department usually does a good job, they put all the salt down there, but still, there's good times that I've spun there on the corner till it catches, but, one of these days, maybe you're right.
Maybe it'd be a good idea that everybody that was interested write a letter along with the board's recommendation.
Jim, are you still with us? Jim, are you with us? So we're talking about the accidents again, all the years of struggling to get something done at Bragg and 5 and 20 and Dalton. Or Dorrance, yeah, Dorrance. Can the town take action? Could you draft a petition that we could get residents to sign as well as the board? residents to sign this, and like Mark said, the squeaky wheel right now, we've got an opportunity to get people's attention, now's the time to do it.
And Jim, how many work with you to come up with a resolution of some kind that the town board can adopt at the next meeting?
Yep. Yep, I can do that.
And I'll call GTC to see if their comment period is still open. I'm sorry, Mark, I'll call GTC to make sure the comment period is still open so we can get some.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to start with the meeting, what we found out?
Yep.
You got a motion or anything on that, or?
Sue, just a quick motion then to have Jim draft up
I'll make the motion, we should have Jim Campbell send out a letter to the, again, Mark? Genesee Transportation Council with our concerns of people's lives at the intersection of Dorff, Bragg, and 5 and 20.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Bill?
Is there any way you could put that address for that organization on the website so people can access it easy enough on the town's site? I mean, I don't know where to write that letter to.
We can put something together.
Great, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. So I've been swapping notes here with Sarah Warren, who lives over on North Road. She's been working on an online petition for this, the one that was started earlier, 3 years ago. That's still active. She's got a list of people to reach out, including Sean, and is talking about the previous study that was done at Henderson Squash.
What's it, what he's saying?
Sarah Warren. So there is an online petition right now that I'll get the link and post it up.
We'll post that at the town board then, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know this is kind of a sad ending to a sentence here, but, over on Perry Road, I think it's south of Leicester, there's a section of that road that has got multiple deaths. The state did a study 10 years ago, came up with different options, how to correct the roads to make it better, and they still have funding. So,
You said Perry Road?
Perry Road.
That'd be right before Route 19, right there, before you go into the bridge.
Yeah. So, and the people there have been frustrated, and I don't think that they've really been pushing. That's why I say it. I mean, people have to speak up.
Well, look at down here going 15, where the Bush shop is, they run the stop sign all the time. I'll be coming down on 1.5.
Right, and we have had fatalities.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's why the planning documents indicated that traffic circle trying to slow those down.
But you're right, anytime we can take action and mitigate and save lives by what we're doing, you're absolutely correct.
John, I want to thank you for the one side there, on the there. South side, east. And I don't know if you're going to be in the area soon, but anytime you're in that area.
We should have something we got over there on this week to start to know.
We appreciate this. That helps immensely.
doors?
Yeah. There's a tree there, that, it's gotta be down. It's
That's
that,
flat, is it, though?
yeah,
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say that, there's that bush that's right there hanging over the road.
Yeah.
That's maybe.
Would we be in the wrong place to have maybe Sean stop by and have a conversation with him about what pertained to what happened tonight, to suggest to her and see if they would be receptive? Would that be all right? Would that be all right with you?
yeah.
Or trim it back and, because of the houses, trim it back.
I don't wanna say anything against the farmers around, but sometimes you go for a ride, their cornfields are right out to the road, you have to go out and have to to the road and look down the road, see when the cars come. That's dangerous. No, that's dangerous. No, not like it.
I want to shift this view away. But up there, that, if you come off Grace, across 15A, and go on to Woodward,
Yeah,
there's a hedge there.
Yeah.
That's a pain too.
yeah, I would like to chop those right now, especially when you have a plow on the front, and you can't, you're 20 feet further back than the
If
other.
that come into the road,
Yeah,
to make your turn to the south, that's a bad area.
yeah, yeah. The only time either of those intersections are okay to do in a contract is during the night.
See the car runs, yeah. Although we had a hard time when we crossed over there.
Be careful now, wait till you see when we get done with you.
I'm a lefty, and I can't worry about it. So that, so at the corner of Wilson and Dory, so you're heading west, when you pull up to the stop sign, you can't see down, you can't see north, because of all the brush that's going on.
Okay.
And I've been tempted to cut it down, but I can't trust the sun. So, and there's also a lot of boulders right at that corner.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you want to talk to Jeff Shakes, 730 feet,
yeah.
because that's his field. Maybe you can put boulders on there, but there's not a lot going on over the last 2 years. It's a blind spot.
Yeah, I know I went over there at one point last year to go over there and cut a bunch of that down. And unfortunately, there was a giant ground beast nest right in the midst of all of it, and I got swarmed by it. Yeah, and I'm pretty positive they are back there again this year. But keeping up on corners and things like that is another reason that I would love to have a boom mower upon our arsenal over at the highway department. Yeah, but just to be able to maintain it and, you know, all the corners in town, like even like what you're saying, just be able to easily and not have to break down the excavator every time, but just put in the slow boom mower that we do have. But I'll put it on the list of.
So I don't know what you did with the boulders.
No, we'll have to pull them out, and I'll talk to, yeah.
They got stop sign. You can't see, that's like a whole length beyond that.
Well, and I know we've been looking back the other way too, with the pine tree there that's growing out towards the road as another issue. I mean, next week, I actually have, the village of Caledonia coming in with their bucket truck. We're gonna be going around town trimming things like that, everything that's low hanging over the road, and, you know, stuff, I mean, even, I don't know the people's names, but they're on the corner of Forby and York, and they have the beautiful trees that are overgrowing the road, and I'm sorry, but those trees are ruining that section of that road. That's why there's always the tiny little potholes and everything. And it should have been done a long time ago, but those need to be trimmed back. Yeah, but we'll be going around all next week, doing things like that.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks. Okay, it's a good guess.
They're all, you look at right in front of the factory.
So with you raising 6%, are we still keeping highway below our normal, what we normally have done over the years? Have we reinstated anything?
So I cut it down to a third of what was this year.
So you can cut even more? Okay.
But, Scott, I will tell you this.
So, there has been some adding into the highway because we had stopped contributing to the equipment funds, and we had stopped contributing to a whole bunch of things there, which we cannot, it's not sustainable. We made a lot of cuts and slices to get it down to just below 6 last year. Right now, I set the levy at 6, but we are just below, again, roughly the same increase we had last year. But again, it depends on where we are. The board has a lot of tough choices to make as far as additional funding for the fire department, ambulance, et cetera. Not to mention the fact that we are picking up the payments for the Siemens project next year. We have 3/4 of them to make, not 4. Some of that is paid for by our energy savings, but not all. And so some of that gets picked up there. There's a whole bunch of different things. We had a 15% increase in our healthcare costs. That has to be absorbed somehow. A 24% increase in the accountants, and a number of things that went up that we have zero control over. But other things are within our realm. So I took a pretty good slice at it to see where we could go. But the board's going to have to go through it line by line and discuss.
One thing that would be huge, Sean, is getting the kind of highway department back on our team. Because we really use that revenue. You know, anything that we do is work with them highways and cities.
So what I wanted to back up Mark, I will say, Sean and his stepdad, Keith Arner, thank God, if people want to applaud somebody, Keith could have just walked away and said, the hell with you people, you're on your own, you figure it out. He is working with Sean is working with him now. He is listening to him, and I can tell you just from the salt shed and talking about road plowing and everything else. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you folks, Lima has missed out on a ton of money in the last few years that was never gone after. And this man's going after it now. And for road projects, there's the right extra road project money we can collect. We can work with the county. We got our own situation back under control. It's unbelievable the money we can obtain by doing other projects and working with the county and doing work within our own county on county roads that we can bring back into the coffers. Now, is it going to bring it down to under 2%?
Yeah.
I hope it does, but
No, I'm more concerned about, we went from, we cut.
I know.
We raised our taxes to get there, we handcuffed ourselves, and like.
We sure did.
Are we doing that again? What are we, if we're going up 5 or 6, but we're keeping his budget the same, that means we're taking 2 cuts in a row.
We can't go out with a pickup truck and a bag of cement and fix the roads for you. That's not, I don't think, the plan going forward. But seriously, we're talking probably tens of thousands of dollars that we should have been collecting over the years, and we will not. The salt shed, once we start digging into it, I went over to the state and with the previous man, I said, did you know that this, no, didn't know anything about it. He went after it, working with our town engineers, and we are going after payment. Not totally, it's going to be a percentage based on the amount of roads we covered for the state of New York, 5 and 20 and 15A, but there will be some money we can go after eventually to help build this new salt shed. 10%, 15% of the total project, I'm guessing maybe at best, but it's something. It's something. sit here as a board and yep, we can't keep doing it, and we do. We do our homework. I mean, I hope some of you someday have the opportunity to sit in the seat, because it's an eye-opener. It's a great eye-opener to see what we do to keep this town running. And it isn't easy. I hope that everybody understands that. So.
Okay. All right, Lima's Gold Day is going to be next Tuesday. It's going to be at the Lima Diner at noon. If you are 55 years or older, and you know a Lima resident or a Lima resident, you are eligible to join. Please come out and join the Gold Day Tuesday. Lunch is inexpensive. If you are not a member and you do intend to join and come to lunch, please see Lori tonight. Lori is the president here. Village, of course, we're all saddened by the loss of Jonathan. The village board is now down to one person. They're meeting next Tuesday. They're going to have to figure that out. I'll be meeting with the mayor, I believe, tomorrow to go over a whole host of items in the community, including some of the budget items that are tentative.
Mike, with that, are you gonna do any, joint meetings? I think last time you guys said, hey, we've got a schedule for joint village and town meetings. Is anything?
So, we don't have a schedule, we don't have another one scheduled right now. We're probably gonna be waiting until December, I would think, to do that. The village, it would be their turn to host, so it would be the second Tuesday meeting. The VFW will be meeting a week from Wednesday. Over the post, if you are a veteran of foreign war, we would love to have you stop in. I am the VFW commander, so please see me after me. The Legion Post is, their meeting is next Monday. They will be holding their 9/11 ceremony at 6 o'clock over at the post, which is in West Bloomfield, prior to their meeting. Be Well in Lima meets tomorrow evening here at 7 o'clock. I will be hosting the meeting in lieu of Mayor Kunis, who has to be somewhere else. I would at this point emphasize the Be Well 250. There is a concerted effort to get everybody to walk 250 laps around Veterans Way in Mark Tubbs Park before next 4th of July. There is a way to sign up on the website, and not too many folks doing it right now, but there are a few. And it's 0.6 of a mile around, so you might do 1 or 2 a night, and try to catch those 250 laps.
I could try, I'm just having handles at the end.
Okay. Which end?
20 feet in.
All right, Crossroads, we are, next meeting is set up for October 6th, and we'll begin planning again for next year's festival. We were just short of 9,000 people this year. The software does not count the Presbyterian Church one, just so you know. We're using Placer.ai to track all the cell phone data at the county level, and you are not allowed to have the church one in the markdown area. It's prohibited. So there's some.
And Mike, thanks for the job you did, you were really loud for this year, thank you.
Ron?
Yeah, so Sean just gone through a lot of it, but I will say, I was talking to Sean earlier today, and, a new truck was bought. And all it takes is phone calls and talk to people, which Sean is doing now. Instead of going with 10 volt, put the body of parts on the truck, with replace up in Buffalo, and save, what did you say, 20 grand? far as, library, they did not meet in August. They have a meeting now, September 10th. And we'll find out, whether they go under the owl umbrella or they stay under the town umbrella, something like that. Yeah. So we'll see what comes of it. As far as the park commission, I was out of town on business, on the Lakes Parks Commission, so I don't think a whole lot happened there. I think Steve, you were out of town as well. So, just looking up to see what Brian had posted.
I mean, I know where we are with everything, and
Yeah.
I'll tell everybody here in a minute.
Yeah, and, I guess the electric is done.
No, not yet.
Not yet. All right, I know more about it, so that's about it.
Hey, Bill?
The ag board, I was at the meeting, they're gonna let me know when the next meeting is. The cemeteries, I think you're doing the grass arch, if you're, thank you for doing that.
Where we dig for our,
Who's taking forever?
we talked about it 2 meetings ago, he's, needed to get with him to get topsoil to fix some of the damage, and he agreed to do it. The gentleman that did all the taking down the trees. Yep, we talked about it 2 meetings ago.
So, has he brought any in?
That's what I done, so I don't know.
That's,
Have you been in touch with them, Sean? Who's the dog?
I made a phone call for him and then brought it up 2 meetings ago that it needs to be done.
Okay.
I didn't know if Bill was gonna further it, or be in charge of the.
I don't do that anyway, I'm the lawn care, just the cemetery, they have nothing to do with that. Who the hell put me on that? No, I didn't have anything to do with it, I didn't know anything, I didn't do anything.
Also, I'm asking is that I know you are the liaison for the cemeteries, and I know you have contact with them. That's all I ask.
Historical Society.
They will, you know, the next meeting is, I haven't said anything, I was gonna try to get a hold of.
It just
George,
texted me.
yeah, Frank, can you call when we're in a meeting? In the court, there's, they have a major trial coming up in Lima, and Harold's gonna proceed on it. They got 50 people that they have to pick a jury from, and it's gonna be done in Lima. She wouldn't tell me what it's about, but it's a major deal.
Yeah, we haven't had a jury around here. It's been 20 years. I'm sure we will. Mark?
So the planning board met in, August, Tony Condor was made an application, it's at the old GCC property. He's looking at putting a combination of, 2 parking lots that have capabilities for like storage, and like proposed RVs. And then also part of the property dedicated to, and I think the planning board came up with the idea that this meets the definition of motel. But a motel in the sense that, you remember over in Avon, a long time ago, maybe still got, I think it's more now. Used to be a series of little cottages, little lodges. They were independent units.
Right by the DFW.
Yeah, it wasn't like a regular motel, it was building
obviously, we're gonna go forward.
Yeah,
Hear the neighbors down, we'll see what, hopefully, we get some resolution to what you're looking for, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I believe honestly I was pointing in the wrong direction for you to go with that meeting, because obviously the permit for, use variance or whatever that I applied for kind of didn't even apply to me, but that's just kind of the road I was led down for doing things in the right order. But obviously, you know, this general business overlay is kind of the pursuit that I have now.
Thank you. As far as on the parks, we doing a little planting down there to get things spruced up for, the October 4th, the finish of the year. The electrical bid went out, we had 2 bids, 19 and change, and I believe it was 58,600. We did go with it on the $19,000 bid, 10,000, on part of the Pumpkin Festival and Egg Day, and 4,500 here from the town, 4,500 from the village. The work is well underway. The lines are all buried to all 6 locations. And I went down and viewed them this morning again. And the only thing I told Mike that were missing are the receptacles for the outlets. The wiring, everything is there. The weather heads are there. It'll be just the receptacles and the covers. That looks like, I believe, the 200 amp service is put into place. That's all done. And we went, the company is right here, and I can't tell you the name. I was going to write it down before I came in, but it was a local company out of Rush. And they were the only 2 bids we got that we got by the deadline, and the only 2 period. So that's going on. There is going to be a new fishing dock, and we hope that's going to be finished yet this year. Again, the Pumpkin Day is going to fund that along with probably another project here. And that is, we're taking out by Cassie Juno's son, it's an Eagle project. That's going to be done, and Bill, he's hopefully going to be reaching back out to you. Bill's putting some, with his carpenter skills and stuff, he's working with a young lad to get it finished up. He came to us with a couple different designs, and I'm trying to think, 10 by 6, 10 by 8, something like that.
I think it's 10 by 10.
10 by 10, we're going to go with it.
Or 10 by 12.
Ronnie and I walk down, it's going to be on town. If anybody's been down there, it's on the far end of the pond, down on basically the southeast side of the pond down there. The trail goes all the way around the pond, and that way they can access for fishing a lot better. Pumpkin Festival is coming up October 4th. We hope you'll attend. We had a little over 4,000 people last year in our second year, and if we get that or more, we'll be ecstatic again. Our contributors are right there again with funding this year to help to make this a free event for families and kids. We've got some great raffle stuff donated again. We'll take more if anybody has anything they'd like to donate to our silent auction. Our big live auction, we've got some beautiful glass-blown pumpkins, along with a few other big, probably $150, $200 prizes donated. Usually Tractor Supply comes through for us. And then our big item is working with the Matthews family here that owns land at Fat Farm here for years in Mendon and Honeyhead Falls. We are going to be auctioning off live a John Deere B with a little bit of history to it, and there's going to be an article coming up on it. It was purchased from Collins and Hannah in Honeyhead Falls back around 1950. And it was bought by Corky Powell, the Powell family over in Mendon Center, and the family here, the Matthews family, bought it. And if anybody knows Collins and Hannah, it is now called Flaherty's to this day. A little bit of thing that it was bought local and coming back local to be auctioned off there. And appreciate the funding. Purchasing that tractor by the ag community. There was 17 of us all together, and we raised $1,650 for the park, along with buying the tractor from the Matthews family. So all proceeds from the tractor auction will go 100% towards again project have raffle tickets again here tonight. If you'd like to try to win $14,000, we appreciate your help with that. We had minimal calls, only a couple small fires, and of course the 2 accidents for this past month. Our drill for September is going to be chimney fires. We'll be working on that with the aerial truck and ladders, and that'll be our September drill. Let's see what else did I have here. Fire truck update. We had an offer in Churchville. They didn't like our offer. It's kind of out there. They're looking for $350,000. Again, we're trying to keep services updated in the fire department and in town. If some of you that weren't here, couldn't make the last meeting, the July meeting, I announced that I'm not on the truck committee this time. The truck committee had a truck all lined up in December. And there were a couple little things, and the guy, the salesman, I'll get right back to you right after the first of the year. So he sure did. Went from $875,000 to $1.25 million for a new pumper. So now you want to know why emergency services are up against it, trying to maintain our equipment and take care of it, and not have ancient trucks out there to try to fight fires and go to MBAs and everything else with. Luckily, Lima, if you don't know, Lima does run with East Avon. We've been doing that now, we believe, going on 4 years. It is working out very well. For manpower's sake for us. I guess that's it. Good deal. Thank you.
Sean?
So tomorrow I will be actually sworn into the traffic safety board. And I have a traffic safety board meeting tomorrow afternoon to where I will bring in discussion with them appropriate actions to take for the Gordon and 5 and 20 intersection, as well as I would like to see if there's any